Got it. Okay. So I don't even know what the date is. The 27th of August. Alicia and I wanted to highlight two people. I want to highlight Melissa Hawk. It's her very first Zoom call. I literally just reminded her like 2 minutes ago, like, hey, can you hop on a Zoom right now? What's up, Melissa? So this is Team Faithfully Fit, Team Focused Fitness, and also Team Juliet LYF Fly.
3, whatever.
So welcome. I'm so proud of you for hopping on.
All right. I want to give shout outs to two people. Rhonda, you've seen before because I've introduced her in the page, and you saw that she recently hit Emerald. So congratulations, Rhonda. Excited for you. She's on a crazy tear right now, and I haven't officially announced it in the page, but this seems like a good time to let you all know that she also qualified for our retreat in September. So she will be joining us. Cannot wait for her to experience this session. We got a chance to meet on the boardwalk in person like 2 weeks ago too, which was awesome. And then also Lori, who's on the call as well. This is Lori's first call. Lori's actually part of Rhonda's team, but Lori has been a Beachbody coach in the past. And she is excited to learn more about our team and how we work and what we're all about. So I appreciate you making time tonight, Lori, as well. Welcome.
Cool. Okay. Well, this is not a typical like team call where we're going to do announcements and recognition. We're going to save that for another time. What we wanted to talk about tonight is Juliet and Alicia and I have spent a lot of time just getting some ideas together around just coming together for community, right? So I know most of us, if you were to poll us, the reason why we do this, the reason why we stay with it is because we love our community, whether that's in challenge groups or whether that's in the events that we get together at, whether it's Summit or whether it's our team leadership events. And I want to tell you that August is traditionally a very tough time to be a coach, right? So sometimes Decembers can be slow. Sometimes Decembers can be busy. Sometimes spring breaks are slow. Sometimes they're crazy. August are always nuts because I think Beachbody coaching aside, it's always a very busy time of year. People are transitioning from one type of schedule to the next. Kids are going back to school. You might be going back to work as a full-time something or other after taking vacations. It's just a month of transition, and that can make people feel super overwhelmed. So first and foremost, I talked to a small mentorship group last night about how important it is to make sure that our mindset is right. So if you're not reading something from a PD standpoint, you got to get yourself some PD for sure. And two, this is the time for us to come together as a team. And so Alicia and Juliet and I have spent a lot of time. We're going to roll out a group that we are going to do team-wide. We have not done one of these in over a year. So we're going to be running a 10-day team-wide group that's going to provide value to our followers that has to do with nutrition and getting them started on something really simple and easy, just moving their body in BOD. So we're going to get to that in a second, but first we want to share with you guys the next release, which is pretty exciting, and that is Vegan Pumpkin Spice Shakeology, which is going to be released on Tuesday, September 3rd. So I'm sharing my screen right now, so I can't see everyone's beautiful face, but raise your hand if you tried pumpkin spice last year. How many hands am I seeing? Okay, maybe half of you. So this sold out, you guys, in 8 days last year. So we do have more pumpkin spice vegan Shakeology than we did last year, but it's going to sell out pretty quickly. And so we just wanted to give you a couple of tips about how to market this so that you're adding value to your people, because I'm telling you, I had people that told me they didn't even like pumpkin, and then they tried it and they were like, how do I get my hands on it? And I couldn't get them any because it was gone. So here are the details. This is all in the FAQ, but it launches a week from Tuesday, which is today. Retail price is $74.95. Coach price is $56.21. $6.95 shipping. So there's no discounted shipping. You can't get it on auto ship. It is called limited edition. There's 14 packets in a box. And I just want to share a really quick story before I get into this anymore. And I want to really share with you guys how, like, when we talk about failing forward, we should always be failing forward. And at this time last year, I was a coach for 4 years, and I was running a free group that basically people were to come in and do a 5-day bod trial, and they were going to spend $10, and I was going to send them 5 pumpkin spice packets of Shakeology. So I went ahead and I bought 10 boxes of pumpkin spice Shakeology. I spent like a ton of money on shipping because each box ships for $6.95. Bottom line, I spent over $500 on all of this inventory of pumpkin spice vegan, and I marketed this group for 2 weeks. And when I tell you, I did not have not one person signed up for my freemium. So for any of you who are like, oh my gosh, I've done this and I try to get people to join my groups and they don't join, I had already been doing this for 4 years. I know how to market a freemium. It just wasn't speaking to my people. So my family and I really enjoyed pumpkin spice Shakeology probably until January of this past year. We drank it for like 5 or 6 months straight. I had so much of it. But I fell forward and I learned a lot about the launch. So I want to share with you guys what you should do, which I should have done last year when it comes to marketing your pumpkin spice Shakeology. And don't forget that we have another holiday Shakeology limited edition coming, which is, refresh my memory, girls, it's
Mocha peppermint.
Mocha peppermint vegan Shakeology is coming out probably in the end of October, beginning of November. I don't know the date for that, but this is like whatever happens to you in terms of your volume for this limited edition, just know that you're going to get better at marketing this, and come holiday time, your volume is going to spike even more. Every single launch, if you are putting 100% effort into launching something, creates more volume every time you launch something. I promise you. And then you fail forward and you make mistakes, and you like make $500 mistakes, and no one signs up for your freemiums, and that's okay because it's all learning. It's all learning, right? So here's what you want to do in marketing this. You want to craft an email to all of your current people and all of your past people about what this Shakeology is. And Alicia's going to walk us through it because we actually have an invitation for you that we're going to give you. This whole PowerPoint presentation is filled with everything that you need for everything we're about to talk with you about tonight. So you're going to get a copy of that. Feel free to use it, make it your own, take bits and pieces of it. But you want to work now at sending an email. Do not send a blanket email. If you do send a blanket email, then make it personal and saying that, like, I'm doing this blanket email because XYZ. Don't just make your customers feel like a blanket. I usually do individual ones, and I'm just copying and pasting and I'm sending them out as fast as I can, but that's just me. You might have a different way of doing it. Just make sure your customers know that they're individual and that they're hearing from you in an individual way. Polls and posts on social media, we're going to give you some like specific how-tos later. That is huge. Don't use stock photos, you guys. Don't use like what I'm using here for the PowerPoint on your social media feed because that feels yucky, okay? You want to do something that is a little bit more like vague. Remember curiosity marketing. You want people to be asking what exactly you're talking about. Conversation starters, how to get conversations going can be from a poll like, hey, who loves pumpkin? Who doesn't? Hey, Starbucks is coming out with pumpkin spice lattes on this date. Raise your hand if you're a fan, right? Just so that you have an idea on Dunkin' Donuts, I think, is coming out a couple days later, maybe the same day. I'm not really sure. Your holding tank, if you have a holding tank group, it's definitely a place to go live. Tell them about it. Tell them what it tasted like. Tell them like how many people that you knew that didn't want to do pumpkin and tried it and they were like, this stuff is amazing. 3 to 4 posts leading up to the launch within the next week. That includes your stories. And then using the word pre-order. Somehow sharing with your people that this sold out in 8 hours last year, and that this is a flavor that people are going to want to get their hands on, right? Obviously, there's always the guarantee you can throw out, but I like to throw out that guarantee if I'm in a conversation with someone, not on a social media post. Okay, am I missing anything? I don't think I am. I'm going to pass it over to Alicia so she can walk us through her invitation that she's got.
So guys, I just made this today. And like Tracy said, with all the stuff that you're going to get, please tweak it. I'm a big fan of investing the time in individual emails to people so they know it's not a mass email, but I've also in this best interest of time said, hey, listen, this is a mass email. I want to get to you first so you can get to me before I get to you. Again, that's what we mean by making it a little bit personal, but this is very simply, hey customer, I know you've been loving your whatever, chocolate Shakeology, greenberry, whatever. I may not be interested in switching it up, but I did want to let you know that next Tuesday, pumpkin spice Shakeology will be released. If they are currently drinking vegan, I'm adding, hey, great news, it's also plant-based, just like your current flavor. I'm still loyal to chocolate myself, but I love switching it up in the fall, especially as a snack by blending it with some ice, almond milk, tiny bit of cinnamon. So good, definitely a healthy option than a PSL from Starbucks. When it came out last year, sold out in 8 hours. I only got 2 boxes myself and wish I had grabbed more, although they're producing more. It's going to be a limited release this year. My goal is to help as many of my customers grab a box before it sells out again. I'm not sure if you're a pumpkin flavored fan like I am, but if you want to reserve a box, let me know and I can add you to my pre-order list. This way, as soon as it's available to buy, you'll have a link in your inbox and can snag yours before it sells out. Have an awesome Labor Day, right? So it's very basic, but I want to stress urgency. I want to talk a little bit about how I used it. And for half of you that didn't try it, you can say like, I was not coaching last year, or I did not get my hands on a box last year. And coaches on my team all say they wish they ordered more because of X, Y, and Z, right? So don't lie. Don't say you've had it if you haven't. But this is where you might need to borrow from us a little bit for your customer. So does that make sense? You guys will have this recording. You can take a screenshot of it. I could also post it in Faithfully Fit so you guys could just copy and paste as needed.
Totally. And it's great to just have a list of people, because then you can create one email on launch morning that can be like, hey, so-and-so, so excited that you want to try this, blah, 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 blah. Here's the link to buy. You can just literally, does everyone know about Coach Link Generator? Melissa won't, because she's probably brand new, so I can talk to you offline, but does everyone else know how to use Coach Link?
I don't think a lot of people do that have come on since ShareAcart, because I think we've talked a lot about ShareAcart, Tracy. So maybe we could put something in Faithfully Fit.
Yep. Perfect. Okay. So that's an easy way to add to an email. Okay, Juliet, I'm passing it to you.
Okay, so guys, the main reason why we did this call, what we just wanted to add that before, is we have gotten together to give you guys an idea that we want to throw out. So it's a team-wide 10-day bod and nutrition challenge, and we're calling it Fit Fierce for Fall, and it starts September 9th. The goal is for everyone is to pump up your volume, right? You want to get people interested. You also want to get people interested in getting a little taste of what a challenge group is so they can feel the community aspect. And this is a perfect way. And we're going to add some value. So it's not just like, you know, a typical 10-day group. We're going to be adding some stuff. We're going to give you all the information. So what does a challenger need to do to get into a group? They have to purchase a minimum of a 3-month bod, okay? And we don't want you just sending a blanket bod, okay? You always want to add something more, because remember, if they're doing a 3-month bod, they get that first 2 weeks free. So there's things that you can add into it to kind of, and you're not, you know, you can call it upselling if you want, but it's really adding value to the ShareAcart. Trace, you want to go to the next slide?
Yeah. So some of the things that I like to add to ShareAcart are listed here. Let me just say this. I don't have like a conversation with someone I don't really know over like Messenger and then like randomly throw in Power Greens. Okay, that's gross. Like that's not what we're saying to do. But if I'm talking to someone, I have an example right now. I got a referral from my current challenge group of her sister. Her sister's like, I need some help. I'm like, great. What do you need help with? She's like, fitness. I'm like, do you need help with nutrition? She's like, no. I'm like, okay, well, tell me what you eat in a day. She lists it out. I'm like, wow, sounds like you're awesome and super healthy. That's great. She's like, I just have a really hard time getting motivated. And before I know it, 3 weeks have gone by and I haven't moved a bone. So what did I put in her cart, right? I actually sent her a 3-month bod. I'm like, you know what? If you have a history of not being able to stick with something, I'm going to send you just a 3-month bod and get you into my challenge group. I want to make sure that you love this program and that you feel like it's a good fit for you before I like sell or anything else, right? But I said, I'm going to put a packet of Energize samples in your share cart. And this is what Energize does. I don't go a day without it. It's natural. It helps me with my endurance. It gets me going. I'm so super fired up to do my workout every morning. Once it starts to hit 15 minutes after I take it, I go down and I push play. If you want to remove it from your cart, go for it. You don't have to keep it in your cart, but I'm letting you know that I couldn't live without this. And because you told me that fitness is tough for you, I wanted to make sure that you had it too. You guys can just mute your phone. There's a little bit of background noise. So if you're not talking, just go ahead and mute. And that way we don't get any of the background noise. So that's what I did. I added something based on what she told me she was struggling with, right? So that's what we're talking about here. And I think sometimes when we talk about adding things to carts, it's a little bit of a craft that you have to get into. And I wanted to show some of you who are like, ooh, I'm afraid that's going to be too much money, because that tends to be something that coaches struggle with. I wanted to just give you like a quick comparison. Okay. So let's start just with baby spinach, right? Baby spinach from Whole Foods. If you take 1 cup of baby spinach from Whole Foods, that is equivalent to 1 scoop of Shakeology Power Greens. Okay. 1 scoop of Shakeology Power Greens is $1.74. Okay. 1 serving of organic spinach that's only going to last for 5 days because it's going to go bad is 99 cents. So we're talking about like a 74-cent difference in actual Power Greens versus like organic spinach that people are putting in. Plus, once you get your canister, you're not going to the store to keep getting more spinach to put in your shake for someone who's got an issue with greens, okay? Another one is Hydrate, okay? So a packet of Hydrate, and these prices that you guys are seeing here are all retail. I'm assuming that we're adding these to, I'm sorry that my text keeps going nuts. I don't know how to turn it off. I'm assuming that we're adding these to people who are retail customers. So 1 packet of a 10-pack of Hydrate is $1.40. It's $13.95. You get 10 of them. So it's $1.40. If you compare that to organic Gatorade, because that's the most like comparable thing to Hydrate since there's no chemicals in either of them, it's $1.27 for organic Gatorade versus $1.40 for a packet of Hydrate. So I just wanted to show you like a couple comparisons. $2.65 for a retail bar of what we sell versus if you go buy a Kind bar at Starbucks, $2.25. We're talking 40-cent difference. So our retail prices really are not out there opposed to what a consumer can go out and get at a Walmart, at a Starbucks, at a grocery store, right? So it's just important that you know that. For some of you coaches, I think that have some sort of a script in your mind that's like, oh, I don't want to add anything because it's going to be more expensive and I know this person is tough or strapped on money. If you're a mom and you're buying organic Gatorade for your kid on the soccer field, I promise you're going to want to share with that mom what a difference it can make if they're giving their kid Hydrate, which does the same exact thing, but doesn't have dyes, doesn't have chemicals, and doesn't have added sugar, right? For me as a mom, right, that difference right there of like 13 cents is worth it to me. Juliet?
I just want to say, so a really good thing to say, like if you're feeling like icky about doing it, if you're saying you're putting a sample pack of something in, sample pack is really just, I mean, it's making someone feel better. Oh, it's a sample pack. It's not like they're trying to upsell me. They're giving me a sample pack. And what we're going to talk about later is you're really educating. You're not selling. Like it's a really important thing to think about. Like as Tracy said, the Gatorade. So even if they're not drinking the organic Gatorade, that you want to give them something that's going to be better for their kids. So you're really not upselling, you're educating. So that is like a big thing. But always say like that, I'm adding a sample of this in there or a sample of that, because then they're feeling like, oh, that's $17. It's a sample. I get it. It's not a full order. And that's going to really lighten what they, what it's really a semantics kind of thing.
Totally. Okay. So how do you get to that point with a customer? What are some good questions to ask? Alicia is like the mother at this. She does a really great job being able to uncover some stuff. So I'm going to turn it over to her.
So here are 10 questions that I ask all the time before I even talk about prices, options, challenge groups, anything. I like to have a phone conversation, but only once I've gone through this, because I want to come prepared and only share what's relevant to them, right? If somebody tells you they have a fitness program they love, they're religious about it, they go all the time, I'm not going to try to sell them on BOD. That's just not relevant. That's not a gap they have. So I would be trying to solve a problem that person doesn't feel they have. But to Tracy's point earlier, if that person's like, I have no motivation to work out, or I don't get enough vegetables and I feel like produce rots in my fridge, like they're giving you the answers to the test. So it's up to you to ask some questions to uncover those things. And then I don't talk about the bars or the Energize in that initial conversation. I'm like, listen, I want to do a 3-month bod or a 6-month bod, or based on what you told me, here are some things that I think make sense for you. And let's say it ends up being, listen, let's just do a 90-day kind of 3-month subscription to Beachbody On Demand. You get full access to everything that everyone else does, blah, blah, blah. You join the challenge group, all of that. And then once I send the link, I always copy the link and I send it to them directly, which is a good best practice if you're not doing. So I either text or email, whatever medium we've been talking in, right? I send the link that way. And then I say, also, when you get to your shopping cart, you'll notice I added a box of the peanut butter chocolate beach bars. You mentioned that your biggest challenge with nutrition is snacking, and you get hungry around 3 o'clock. I keep these in my car, in my bag. We go through boxes. It's like right when I have mine. If you don't want it, great. You can easily just remove it from your cart. But I thought of you when I saw these, and I wanted to make sure that you at least knew about them. And I'm that like casual with it. And we were talking earlier, I've never had one person remove anything from the cart. Tracy had one person remove it, but then add something else. I don't think Julia had never had anybody either, because I'm using what they told me and solving a problem that they shared with me with a solution, right? And what's been cool about that is I have people that might not normally say like, oh, $40 for bars, like that's worth it to me. But once they try the bars, they're like, how do I get more bars? How do I get more energized? Let me get more hydrate. And then the conversations around, well, listen, if you're drinking this and that, maybe we should talk about becoming a discount coach, right? So like it evolves, right? The goal is to get them in somewhere, which is the purpose of this group. Show them the value we can add, either as coaches, a community, and then they take it from there. So I hope that makes sense. There's other questions. There's probably 20 other questions you could ask. But before you start like word vomiting on them with how awesome all of our products are, I only speak to the products that they've kind of given me permission to speak to based on their answers. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense. And when we had talked about earlier too, like say you work all these out, they're saying nothing, but then you like just do a little homework on them. You go to their Facebook page, you notice they have kids, you notice their kids are playing sports. That's like a good one to just be like, hey, I noticed that your kids are playing sports. I'm not sure what they're drinking, but there's hydrate, which is a really natural choice. Again, like Alicia said, you can exit out and remove it from your cart, but I just thought of you because there's no chemicals in it. It's just way better than Gatorade or the other, high fructose corn syrup, options that are out there. So we use it all the time because I have active kids. Because again, it's connecting with someone. It's making them feel like, oh, she's, whatever. But not being creepy about it.
Totally. Okay. So we have this beautiful image for you to share with your people. And what we like about this is that it gives your consumers an option to choose what works for them, right? So after you've had all these conversations with them, you're back and forth, they're about ready to make a choice. A lot of times what I say to people is, hey, it sounds to me based on our conversation, what would be a good fit for you would be XYZ. I'm attaching an image for you to take a look. Let me know if you think there's another package on here that would be different. And then they'll reply back like, yes, I think what you said is great. Or they're like, oh, I want to do this instead. And then I'm like, okay, great. And we agree what the link is going to be. I send them the link. And when I send them the link, I'm like, hey, by the way, I added this to your cart because of what we talked about in our conversation. Because you can't put everything on one image, right? So this is something for you to share with your people. It's also nice because a lot of times when you're talking to customers, they get a little bit overwhelmed in the beginning. So you have the payment plan that's already in writing for them. So it's a reminder that if you do add a tub of Energize to their cart, or if you add a 3-day refresh, all they're going to do is pay for that 3-day refresh initially if they're getting a 3-month bod, and 2 weeks later they're going to get charged the $38. So that's something that's also nice to sort of have in writing.
Can I make 2 comments around the prices? So you may notice from buying it yourself or sending out share carts that Beachbody's done a really nice job discounting a lot of things at that final stage of checkout. So if you tell somebody, like I just told someone the bars are $40 to add on, they were like, oh, they were actually only $32 when I'm like, that's amazing, right? Or the refreshes are in sale right now. And so it's very refreshing. And did anyone watch the National Wake Up Call this week with Josh Spencer? He was like an OG coach, like from like forever ago. Here's what he talked about, which I think is totally spot on and why it's relevant for this, especially with this group that we're inviting to. When you go to a restaurant and a waitress recommends like a lesser priced meal, she's like, you know what? Like the filet is actually not that good here. I would try the chicken. It's like amazing. And you're like, thank you for not like making me buy the most expensive thing just to make money. And so I always like saying, listen, there's a lot on here. You could get this like big fancy package, but I don't think that makes sense for you. I would just start with this and like get them excited, convince them that they should buy something for less money and have them be the one to say, actually, no, like, could you add on this? Like now they're in control of the buying process, and because people love to buy, but they don't like to be sold to, right? So if you can be the one to take away and say, I don't think you need all this. Let's just start with this. We'll keep it simple. And then we can always add on from there. Then they see the options and they're the one that starts asking you about, what is this Energize? Or is that the shake that you drink? Or is that that neon juice that you drink? Like let them, and now all of a sudden they're in the driver's seat. So I just wanted to point out those 2 things, Trace.
Totally. This is for Amanda Marsh. So these are all the Canadian prices. And for Hannah, we are working on getting one for the UK. That's being made as we speak. So everybody's set with what they need. And again, these images are going to be posted in Faithfully Fit Central so that you can take them, save them, send them off to your customers when you're in the middle of conversations. So what is it exactly that your people are going to be getting in this 10-day group? Julia.
So this is so exciting, guys. This is awesome. So that we have a really like beautifully graphic meal plan. It's going to be very in depth. There's recipes. We're giving you options of not, so if you have people that are like, I don't like shakes, I don't like to drink my food, blah, blah, blah. We have where they can do powered up parfait, overnight oats, and add the Shakeology in there. And then there's also options for people that want to do shakes. So there's all. The other thing that's amazing about this is it's portion fix and to be mindset. So this is like giving to all of the different meal options. So you can send, the second you talk to someone, you can say, and you know, with this, if you're joining, I'm going to send you a meal plan that we're all going to be following. So you can really kickstart everything. It's going to basically be holding your hand in this, where we're going to giving you a fitness calendar and the meal plan. And we're going to have a community that's going to be supporting you around it, because you're getting them interested in, you know, doing something else like a challenge group. But this meal plan is, I mean, how many clients or people will ask, you know, do you just have something you can send me? I just need you to tell me what to do. And you're going to be like, bam, yes, I can tell you what to do. And it looks really pretty.
Yeah. This is like a 12-page document. I've got 6 copies, 6 different weeks worth of them. There's a girl who is like an 8-star diamond coach. She's so generous with what she makes, and she makes these meal plans every week. So it talks a little bit about our products. It shows what she's eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's got recipe ideas. It's got a little bit about collagen. We're going to put the PDF tonight in Faithfully Fit Central so you can take a look at it. So what you're basically marketing is a 10-day group. It's going to be a group. We're all going to run it. We're going to share that with you guys in a second. We're all going to be coaches, all inviting to the same Facebook group. Everyone is going to get the same meal plan, and everyone is going to be getting the same workout schedule. We don't have that tonight, but it's a workout schedule. Most of them will be just using your body weight, because a lot of people who are sort of just starting off with their fitness journey, or maybe they're still on vacations, or maybe they're traveling for work, don't have weights. So we're going to give some options for people that don't have any weights. But we like 10 days because, you guys, in 10 days time, if someone is watching what they're eating, if someone is sticking to a meal plan, and if someone's pushing play every day for 20 to 30 minutes, they will get results in 10 days. And that's what you want. You want someone to get results, and then it's your job to figure out what you're going to do with your customers afterwards. Talk to your coach if you need a challenge group or something. And I know a lot of us are doing Morning Meltdown 100. I'm being very straightforward with my people. I'm already in a 100-day program. If you are interested in this, it's probably because you've fallen off the wagon and you need to get started. We can definitely set you up for a 100-day program after we get your body ready for 100 days. And they can pop into a 100-day group when they're done.
Yep. And to Tracy's point, when the transformation people will get in 10 days, even if they're not losing weight or losing inches, they're definitely going to have a clearer mind. They're going to feel healthier. They're going to get that energy. So that's something to, to also, when you say you're going to get results in 10 days, not everyone loses the weight and loses the inches, as we know. So you want to also talk about the mindset and the energy and just just feeling better.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, so we actually have 3 different examples of invitations. So if some of you are new to inviting, or if you just want to freshen up your invites, the 3 of us each wrote an invite out, just because all of us have different styles. So my invite is hope summer gave you some great time. I wanted to reach out to you and invite you to a 10-day group. It's called Fit and Fierce for Fall. I'm providing you a meal plan and recipes and Beachbody on demand. I'm going to provide coaching in a community. Do you think a group like this could help you? Very straightforward, right? I copy and paste this, and I change it based on who I'm sending it to. I make it personal, and then I paste. And then I make it personal, and then I paste. I make it personal, and then I paste. Or I'm using my voice, right? I love to use my voice in Instagram and Facebook Messenger, or even text messages. And I'm using my voice to basically say the same thing.
So hope you're having a great summer. Hope you're well. I know that I have completely lost my routine and I need to get back. Hope you will join me. I put together a 10-day group with fellow coaches on my team with a workout schedule and a free nutrition plan with recipes that will tell you exactly what to do. I will literally be holding your hand. To join, all you need to do is a BOD. There's an option for 2 weeks on demand, workouts for free, and then you pay $39 for the next 3 months of access. I would love for you to join me so we can get into a great routine together. Would you like more details?
Mine's a little longer, shocker. And because I added the personalized stuff that Tracy was talking about, this is somebody who I've talked to before, right? So I know when we've talked about you jumping into one of my groups in the past, the timing, cost, commitment, whatever made sense wasn't quite right. You had that wedding, vacation excuse, blah, blah, blah. And 30-day group didn't make sense for you at the time. Reason I'm reaching out is because on September 9th, I'm co-hosting a 2-week mini group for people that don't want to fully commit to a major regime, but do want to start taking small steps with some healthier habits. We'll focus on workouts you can do at home with or without weights, and also share meal plans that focus on eating balanced meals, not doing anything drastic like cutting out full food groups like carbs, dairy, etc. Best part about it is there'll be a group of other women doing the same thing, making small changes to get into some better habits coming into the fall. This way you'll feel supported in your efforts to make some positive changes as summer comes to an end. Based on what I just shared, does that seem like something that you'd be interested in? So what's cool about it is all 3 were a little different. We all put in different pieces, but left some things out, whether it was price or timing or about the group. So that's intentional. I don't want to give them everything. I want them to respond, and then we'll fill in the gaps from there. So,
right.
Any questions? All voice for me.
Yes,
I'm not writing anything out.
And I do all voice. And there's times where usually when I add the $39, it's talking to people that I have talked to in the past that have said, that they weren't ready because of price or whatever. Sometimes I usually do leave that out and leave it more vague, but I just wanted to show you guys an example. And the reason why I put that free nutrition piece in is because I also wanted them to know that they will be putting some sort of financial commitment in. So again, if I don't add the $39, I probably will keep the free, but vice versa, we'll take one out and leave one in.
Right. Okay. So once we're in the group, so let's say you'll see something in Faithfully Fit Central that's like, okay, if you are going to bring people into this group and you want to actually coach this group, we need to know by this date. And what the group is going to be, some of you guys have probably seen this, it's going to be a super basic check-in. It's going to be a Facebook group. The check-ins are going to be easy. We're assuming that we're going to probably have anywhere from like 10 to 20 coaches on our team that bring people in. Everyone's going to get a chance to post something, whether it's pre-work or whether it's one of the days that there's a post. And the post is going to be like, they all look like this, different colors, super simple. The goal is not to be writing out long posts. The goal is just to introduce people to community. I was saying to Juliet and to Alicia this morning that my current challenge group right now for Morning Meltdown, I have challengers taking videos and posting them in the Facebook group, or taking a video of their move and showing like side by side of how their move has gotten better. And the community in that group is so awesome that it's really not about what we as coaches are posting. It's about the encouragement and the engagement that's going on, and people are loving it. That's what we want for this 10-day group. This 10-day group is for all of your people that have told you like, too expensive, not ready, don't want to do it, feel weird. This is a $40 investment that they're making to get a meal plan, a workout plan, and the community. And the community is going to be so awesome because it's going to be all of us on the Zoom call. We're really like fun, enthusiastic, hardworking people. And we like love our challengers. So like, we're going to make this group fun, and you're going to get people in it. And I promise you, once they start to get some results, they're going to be like, okay, that was pretty awesome. What's next? And that's why we're having another meeting on the 17th, which is like in the middle of the 10 days, to help you know what to do next. We're holding your hand and we're walking you through so that you know what to do next. Okay. So that's what you're basically selling, right? That's what you're selling out on social media. So the question is, how do I market this, right? So we made a marketing plan, a marketing schedule for you. Follow it if you want. Don't follow it if you don't want. But for those of you that are like, I don't ever know what to post, we created a solution for you. I'm not sharing screen right now, am I? Sorry.
No, that's okay. It's building suspense.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So we have September actually on a calendar, but I cannot believe it's already the last 4 days of August. So tomorrow we're going to start. And again, if you have any questions, you can follow the three of us because we're going to be following this to a T. So you'll see it in ours. But we're just going to put a poll in, right? Just like Tracy mentioned, pumpkin fan or not. I was at Starbucks today, so I did a little like super zoom on the PSL signs and like, just again, basic stuff, right? Then I'm going to post about my goals on the 29th. On the 30th, we'll do another pumpkin spice thing. I'm sorry, the poll necessarily on the 28th doesn't have to be about pumpkin spice, but just to get some conversations going. The 31st, highlight something about your challenge group. It could be successes, it could be just the community, it could be the accountability, whatever you feel is relevant for you and for your audience. Excuse me. And then here's where you're going to start to see some of the CTAs come in for this specific group. So first one's going to be on Sunday. Sunday's typically a great day for a CTA, but it is like the second to last day of summer, right? Everyone is like going hard this weekend. So I think it's going to be great timing for that. On the 2nd, using BOD, sneaking in a Labor Day workout because you don't have to drive anywhere, right? Before you go out and celebrate Labor Day. Recipe, highlight, excuse me, almost made it through, sorry. Highlight either BOD moves if it's too scary, at least one of the workouts you're doing, maybe even it's like a still shot of you working out. Another CTA, something non-coaching for the next 2 days, because you have to remember, being consistent and showing up on social media doesn't mean you post about Beachbody all the time. So the other pieces of your brand, donuts, boy mom, obsession with Missy Elliott, whatever your thing is, like that's where you post a couple of those things. On the 7th, we want you to have a conversation starter post. So ask for a recommendation somewhere. I've posted like 3 different outfits. Like, which one do you like the best? People get engaged quickly and it starts some conversations. It also helps with algorithms. last CTA post on the 8th and we start on the 9th. And the cool thing is people get their access right away. So even if they're waiting on a product, if they decide to enroll the Sunday before, all of a sudden come Monday, they're ready to go. Any questions about the post schedule? Again, you can move things around if it makes more sense for you. We just thought this was a good way to spread out some of the CTAs specifically about the group.
So the group starts on the 9th and it finishes on the 20th. And on the 17th, we're having another team-only call at 8:30. And the purpose of that call is going to be to walk you guys through, like, okay, so you've got 10 people, 15 people, 25 people that are in this group right now. What are you going to do with these people? So we're going to walk you through how to convert, right? So now you've got people that are quarterly BOD members. What do we do next with those? How do we convert them? How do we do it where it sounds natural? We're going to walk you through that as well. And hopefully by that time, we'll have some other options on what some of our plans are going to be as a team. We're still waiting for corporate to make some decisions about launch dates for the work that's supposed to be coming out pretty soon. There's still a lot of variables around that are not finalized. So hopefully we'll have that by then, and we can also talk about, just as a team standpoint, what that means for your challengers, right? I know for me personally, I'm not bringing anyone else into my Morning Meltdown 100 group after the date of September, I think 23rd, because I want those people to finish Morning Meltdown 100 before 2020 gets here. Because I know for sure BAR is going to be starting in January, and I want them to be done with Morning Meltdown by then. So my plan on what I'm bringing people onto for like September 24th and forward is changing. I just don't know what that's going to be yet, but we want to share that with you on the 17th so that you know and have an idea of what to do with your people, okay? One of the things I want to touch on as we're talking about social media is this woman by the name of Kendra Hall. So when Juliet and I were at the 5-star retreat last October, she was our guest speaker. She was working on this book. The book is about to come out in September, and the book is called Stories That Stick. And I actually had a really good example. Brandy did a post last week. Amanda Musser does a great job with this all the time, just in the craft of being able to tell a story that it hooks a reader. So I know like Juliet probably has like the worst attention to like details. Her attention span is like super short, but like I know I can hook Juliet on a post and she'll read the whole thing if it's a good story. Brandy and Amanda both do a really good job at this, so you should pay attention to their posts, and a lot of other coaches are learning the craft as well. But what Kendra talks about, and she's actually coming back to talk to the 5 stars and above again in October, is your social media front is your storefront. We've told you guys that a million times. Like your store, the only way you have to advertise, you don't have windows to market your awesome new fall outfits. All you have is social media. And how are you going to differentiate yourself? Is by being able to tell stories in your posts. Sometimes you do that in very short posts. Sometimes you do that in much longer posts. You don't want all of your posts to be all long. You don't want all of your posts to be all short. You want to diversify it. Or you think of like a Rachel Hollis who did a brilliant job at selling her book, Girl Wash Your Face, because all she did is talk about her book, but she talked about it 200 different ways, right? And to get inspired to do something like that, you've got to be doing PD and you've got to be fueling yourself, because we talk about how important PD is. What PD you're putting into your brain really comes out in your social media. It truly does. So when you are talking about pumpkin spice Shakeology, or whether you're talking about nutrition or what have you, you want to start talking about like, where have your struggles been? Where were you a year ago? Where were you 5 years ago? What has your struggle been in terms of like staying motivated with your workouts? Just being able to share with your audience a little bit more about who you are and talking about your story that can get them hooked in. Kendra is amazing. She tells stories every day on Instagram. She's great to follow, so I wanted to put her picture here. Find her on Instagram. Start reading her posts, because she leads by example on what she really means. And pre-order her book, because as a team, this is definitely one that we're going to be reading, because it's game-changing in the way that it switches up the way that you market yourself on your social media posts.
And actually, Tracy, it was funny because when I was there, I did that like literally right after the 5-star, and my social media blew up. It was actually crazy. And I kind of lost that. Like I was like in a kind of funky, like where I just didn't feel like telling stories, or it wasn't top of mind. So I really, really suggest you guys put like a sticky note or somewhere, because this morning I was crafting a post and we had our call this morning. So I put it on pause and Tracy started talking about it. And I was like, yes, oh my God, I have not done that. I switched the top of my post to talk about a story, and the engagement I got was so much more. It was so much more better than me it was literally the first paragraph I changed, the other 2 paragraphs, and I never write paragraphs. Like I'm very, like as Tracy said, attention deficit, very short attention span. So the fact that I did that was really interesting because I had people that have not commented on my stuff in a long time since I started telling stories. So like changing it up, you're going to get many different kinds of people.
Exactly. So just keep that in mind, because sometimes it's easy. Baby's crying. You got to get to work. You're on a lunch break, what have you. And you're like, I just got to get something up. And when you do that and just throw something up versus when you actually tell a story that shares a little bit more about yourself, you will see a huge difference in the amount of engagement that you get on that post. So does anyone have any questions? We know what we're marketing. We know what the group is going to be about. We know what we're inviting to. We have examples to invite. We have examples on how to market it. In Faithfully Fit Central, we will put the actual group so that you can start adding people. As soon as you say, hey, I'm a coach that's going to be adding people, Tracy T will go in and make you an admin so that you can add your people. If you see people waiting to get into the group, if they're not yours, please don't add them. It really gets confusing that way. So if I invite Elise Dosick and Juliet is in there and she sees Elise Dosick's trying to get into that group, please don't approve if it's not your person. That way we can all be responsible for our own people. We can all be engaging with our own people. We can all be responding to our own people. And as soon as we know how many coaches are going to be running it, we can figure out a really easy schedule. And again, like I said, all the posts are already written. So
so to the point, so this could be a question, and if it's not, I'm going to say it because it, would be something that I would ask. So you talk to someone, you send them the script, they say, yes, I'm ready. You send them the link. What do you do next? You sent an email, but you attach that meal plan. So they have that, right? Isn't that what we decided? They have that meal plan. You add them to the group, you approve them in the group, and then you would stay engaged with them. So you make a list. So that's what you want to do. You want to, send them a welcome email really quickly. Hey, welcome to the group. This is what you can expect. You send them also the fitness schedule. So you're going to send them 2 attachments. So they have that right there, and then you're going to follow up with them until the day that the group starts. Then you're going to engage with them every time that and if you don't see them, maybe you just nudge them aside. Everyone has a different technique. Some people will call them out in the group. You do what you think you're comfortable for your group, but that's how you want to kind of keep track of them.
Beautifully said. Awesome. Alicia, did we miss anything?
No, I think it's now like, what's next now? Did we miss something, Julia?
No, I was going to say, I thought we were ending and I was like, no, wait, remember you.
Oh no, we got one last slide. So here's the thing. There's so much going on, and, Juliet and Tracy and I, we like to try to pulse ourselves. Like, how are we feeling? Because if we're feeling a certain way and we have a little bit more experience or we've got more comfort, then like the team's probably feeling this way. And the 3 of us can all agree, like, this is just a crazy, chaotic time, like in our lives. Plus, there's so much going on with Beachbody in a good way, but it's like, it's just so overwhelming, right? So calls like this or things that we're posting, we're doing our best to like filter all the information down to a consumable, like this is what you need to know, now go, right? Because there's so much information out there. So we really hope that this helped at least give you tangible, like tactical steps. But you got to take it from here, right? And so one of the, this business building checklist that has kind of floated around, I actually saw this, I think Danielle Natoni might have created something like this, but this is a really good gut check that I want you all to do for yourself, right? So we can actually put this graphic up as well. Excuse me. This is not necessarily for us to see unless you want to share it, but you got to go through each of these lines and say, am I doing this or am I not? And this is a really good gut check for you to go, okay, I say that I want this. I'm on these calls. I say I want to make this money. I say that I have these goals, but like, if I can't answer yes to like double digits here, then there's a gap. Okay. Not that there's like, not that this is never going to be for you. Not that like you can't participate on our team or a group like this, but in terms of next steps, if you want to have, because we're all going to be scheduling one-on-one calls with people on our team, but the first question the three of us are going to ask is, cool, what did you score on this business building checklist? And which ones did you answer no to? Because it's also really telling what you answered no to. It's like, wait a second. Did I answer no because I didn't attend Super Saturday? Like, we can work on that and figure out what's going on. But is it no because I'm actually not even an active coach right now? I'm not even using the product, right? Like, that's a different story. And so this is not black and white, but it's certainly a really good gut check and a good conversation starter. And so as we schedule one-on-one calls, the priority is going to be with the people that are doing more. And this doesn't mean you're putting in more hours. This just means what you're doing with your time. So if you only have 5 hours to give a week, this is what it should be focused on. Does that make sense? Yeah. You don't need help with invites. You don't need help with marketing. Like, we've given you all that. It's just, are you inviting? Okay, well, instead of spending 30 minutes on the phone with me, go invite 30 people with 1 minute voice messages each. Then let's talk about what might not be working or working. Right. Cool? It's a little bit of tough love coming from someone with RBF, so sorry.
I love it. I like to give this to myself every 3 months or so to figure out, like, where is it that I need to level up? And if you're not doing something like this, I encourage you, we'll put this in the Faithfully Fit Central call. Print it and ask yourself. And for a while in the summer, I was like, gosh, I was off, and I was doing PD, but I was not doing the right PD for me. I needed to switch up my PD. I was doing PD that was not helping me with my mindset, my organization, and my time management, which is essential when you're manning a home of 4 kids, always here in the summertime and trying to run a business, right? So I needed to switch that up, and then things got better. But if it wouldn't have been for me sort of sitting down and evaluating, that's what we do as business owners. And I think a lot of you guys who are reading Fear is My Homeboy, it's like she talks about, like, there's the Tracy piece, who's Tracy Balderac, the coach, and then there's Tracy Balderac, the business, right? And you have to, like, this checklist is asking you, how is Brandy Truex doing as a business? How is Juliette Hahn doing as a business, right? Is Juliette Hahn proof that the products are working? Oh, her nutrition's off. She should probably do a 3-day refresh or an ultimate reset, right? Or, like, I just said I gained 6 pounds. I was telling these girls, I'm like, I ate a whole plate of nachos. Like, I've got to rein it in because I want to go to the pool and socialize with the other moms, feeling fit and strong and looking that way too. And if I'm not looking that way, then it's fine. I got to be authentic about it, but I got to have a solution because I sell a bunch of solutions. I share a bunch of solutions that help these women do it. And I have to be the courageous one that goes first, right? I have to be the one to stop the bleeding. Can you verbalize why you want to blank? That's the only one I wanted to address. What is your goal? If you're not sure where you want to be a year from now, you got to get that clear so that then you can articulate it. I want to walk across the stage at Summit because why? I want to lead a team and have 10 selling coaches on my team in 1 year because why? That why has got to be there, and that why has got to be posted somewhere in your office or whatever your working space is so that you can see that, because life is never not going to be busy, you guys, ever. It doesn't matter what phase you're in your life, how old your kids are, what your career is like right now, what your demands are, what's happening with your marriage. Your husband travels, he doesn't travel, you're dating, you got a roommate, you have a sick parent, something is always going to be going on. And it's a matter of what you're prioritizing. And so times I feel like I'm drifting, I got to come back and remember, like, why am I doing this? And it always comes back to, if I wasn't coaching, then I wouldn't be working on myself, working on my mindset, working on my physical part, working on being a best example for my family. I wouldn't be working as hard on those things. And it always comes down for me that coaching makes me a better person. that why has got to be specific for you, but you've got to know what it is to bring you back, to make you do the things that you don't feel like doing. Because today I sure didn't feel like inviting, but I knew that I had to post this for Amanda Musser later on tonight, and I had to do it. Right. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of focus. You guys can go back through. We'll post all of this. If you have any questions, the three of us are going to be around. Ask us. But you will start seeing a bunch of stuff in Faithfully Fit Central so we can get this going. So with this show of hands, I just want to see right now who's planning on marketing this. Okay, cool. That helps me just get an idea on what to expect so that we can keep getting everything ready for you guys. Yeah. All right, you guys, anything else?
Last thing, share it in your teams. Like share, like everyone that you see, like if you have, know someone that you're coaching with in challenge group, whatever, make sure they watch this video. Don't, just talk this up, because this is really going to be good for new coaches, old coaches, coaches that need to get something restarted and lit. This is a really good thing. We have laid it out like word for word. You do everything we say, you're going to at least get one person to join you. So you have to do it. You will. You definitely will. You just have to do literally exactly what we said.
Yeah, and it's going to be fun because we're fun. That's all there is to it. This group's going to be fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Get my routine back. Whew!
No, makes a lot of us. All right, gang. I will see you guys later. Thanks for your time tonight. Loved it. We did it, girls. Under an hour. Cool.
We're good.
Okay. See you
Bye,
later.
guys.